This project, we're going to just create a complete authentication flow authentication with Prisma and PostgreSQL, and also we will learn how to handle like session-based authentication system in Next.js, like with JWT session and cookies. And also we will learn role-based authentication and how to set cookies, and we will set cookies and secure our app. So for that, I am creating a new directory on my desktop called Certify, and I am now in my Certify directory, and I'm opening the folder on VS Code. Okay, now I am on the Certify folder. In my VS Code, you can open the folder in any code editor, but I am using Visual Studio Code. Now I'm opening terminal, a new terminal, and I'm going to initialize new barn project. That's why barn -init -y, and it will generate new barn project with TypeScript. And now we can run this project in the this is your main file, and you can change it to any name. And before that, you can just run index.txt. okay, we are barn has this built-in transpiler, that's why we can easily transpile TypeScript directly. And we're going to just add some scripts here to run our server scripts, and our start script will be barn run index.th, and make sure that your name, the base file name as the mesh as the same, like you can give it like any name, and this name must be mesh with this name, and make sure that. And we will use like was plug was remove barn, and now we can start our server, and it will be keep alive every time. We don't need to restart again and again. And Node.js also has the was flag to do this, but Node.js does not support like TypeScript transpiler directly. You need to transpile, and after you can able to run it. Okay, barn start, it will run our server. Okay, our server is running, and it is not closed, and it is alive. And now if we make, wow, we are getting output live on our terminal because we have used was plug and run with barn start. Now we need to use barn add, we will use Prisma, and we will use Express and -d types /express. We're just adding Prisma library and Express framework for Node.js on barn, and as a dev dependency, we're installing just types of but dev dependencies. Okay, everything is installed as dev dependencies, but it will work. So now we're just going to create a, we need to import express from express. So before that, I need to configure a extension called coding coding. I've installed, but it's now not working. Maybe it will working from now, and it will give us this suggestion when we will write codes in anywhere. Suppose like that. Oh, we're getting this suggestion. Okay, but without passing it statically, we can take it in a variable, just 5,000. Okay, now it is changed, and also we can change the role to http localhost slash. Okay, Morgan, start. Okay, our server is running and it is running on http localhost 5,000. And if we just control plus click here, okay, it is just opened on our just browser. And now we're going to our VS Code. Now we will initialize our Prisma. That's why our project is running, but we don't need to run anymore because we will never make any changes. Okay, so for that, run Prisma init, and it will create environment variable and Prisma directory in our root directory, and it has generated the database URL, and you need to change the username and password for your database password, and you need to change the database name. And okay, let's remove it from here. And I am using an extension for handling database on VS Code. My extension name is just database client. Oh, so this is my extension, and you can also use it. You can handle any type of database from VS Code. And I am using this Postgres, and it is running on Docker container, or you can use like MySQL, MongoDB, or anything else, MongoDB Atlas, and you can connect it. And here the there you can pass the host port name or database string, connection string to connect it. You can handle like MySQL, Postgres, or many more. So by the way, in this directory, okay, we are going to just remove pointer and we'll create it again. JWT, it will removed. Drop JWT, maybe it is removed. Okay, it is removed. Now we're going to just create new database called JWT run. Okay, it is just created this new database, and my database default name is just Postgres, and my password also Postgres, and it is running on Docker container. You can install Docker and run it, or you can download Postgres, or you can use MongoDB Atlas, or anything else that you want, or you can use cloud hosted database string in here, like Neon or Supabase or Vercel database. So for now, just zoom in. Now, okay, this is the default schema, and our default provider. Default provider is Postgres, but with same functionality, same schema, same model. You can handle the 6 type of database, but you need just few changes in your model for different database, and you will find everything. Just search on here like MongoDB, Prisma, and you will get everything is just well documented how you can use it. Just similar changes you can use multiple database, and our core functionality is the same. Okay, now I'm gonna store. Suppose you need to use like MongoDB, MySQL, or any type of database. You can switch for now we are using Postgres, and we'll create a model for that. I will just copy and paste models from here, and I will explain everything. Okay, now so second. Okay, but this is the models for user. So like I need unique identifier for every user, that's called ID, username, and any type of data you can just set it. Like you can add extra fields that you need in here, and we have connected with some like models called memberships, messages, and chat administered or seen messages. And we have the set field like string. This role is the enum of role, and the default role is user, and default status of our user is offline, and you can change it by online. And we are just making a set application, that's why this is the set model, like ID, name, description, admin ID, correct message, members, anything else. And we're just relationship between the two set member with the set member and user and set, and this ID from this ID, and this ID from the user model ID, and this ID the set model ID. Okay, you will easily understand everything is just similar. Everything is just similar. And this is our enum for role, like guest, user, admin. You can add extra role, extra status here. This is the message status, and this is the online user status. Okay, so for now, we'll just create a new directory called modules here, and we'll create a new folder called user, and also we'll create a new folder called chat, and in the user directory we'll create a new user controller, user.controllers.ts. Okay, we are just maximizing our website, and now we can minimize it. So before that, whenever you made any changes in your Prisma schema, or when you create a Prisma schema with the Postgres, MySQL, SQLite, or any other database, you need to just migrate and it will create a new folder in your Prisma to keep your history, your database history in the Prisma directory with a specific name or date type. And for MongoDB, you don't need to migration because it is NoSQL database. So run Prisma may migrate dev name init. So we are initializing new migration, and before migration, make sure that you have set the correct password, correct username, and correct database name. You have set it out. So it will just generate types for based on our model, and it will create just raw SQL for creating tables, relationships, and indexing and unique. So this is it. Now after hitting migration, everything is correct, that's why. And then in the Prisma directory, in this migration directory, it has just generated a new migration like that, and it has generated types for us. And now we'll create another directory called lib, and /lib /prisma.ts. Okay, form import forms Prisma client, and just export default Prisma. So this is our Prisma, and after generate migration, we have this Prisma dot. Wow, we have a lot of database, but before generating migration, or just if you use like if your types is not generated automatically, you need to hit another uh, command called Prisma. You can use ban, npm, pnpm, or yarn. In my case, I'm using ban and generate. It will generate types for you if you don't have the types of your models and uh, schema. So we have just 5 model in our schema. After migrations, it has just generated types for us. And without migration, you don't have this. And after migration, we have this added Prisma/client and Prisma.user dot, like it has a lot of method to do some specific task, like we can create new user, we can create many user, we can create many and return. We can delete user, delete many fields, like find many unique, find or throw errors, like group by, or you can also use like aggregate, uh, and you can use count for uh, just count your documents of user tables. And also you can use the draw query. So remove it now. In our user controllers.ts, we'll create, so first we need to input type or request response from Express and click okay. It's now we are not const create user. Export default create user. So we're just using modular architecture. You can use MVC architecture, but I prefer modular architecture over MVC architecture. And we will use Zot for validation, like our controller routes. We will organize in the same directory, and it is easily understand and accessible, and it is just good organized in my case or any other developers, like user.routes.ts. Okay, again, we will not input as we export red user like that. We will not default export from here. Hello world. Hello from uh, user module. Wait, user module. Okay, user routes. Import Express. Okay, I don't know Podium why it's not working. So why it is not working? Uh, I don't know why it is not working. Okay, cancel. Please. Why it is not working? Okay, this is installing Korean. So it's from Express const user router equals to Express dot router, and we need to export default user router, and here we just user router dot get slash hello your hello from user router, but we don't need it. We will use slash user slash register. Then when user will hit slash localhost 5000 slash this route, then import so star as user ctrl, that means controller from ctrl. So user ctrl user controller dot, we have a method called user create user, and okay, now everything is good. When user hits slash localhost slash register, then the function will be called, but we need to connect our function with our main file. So before that, our user has their user routes, or chat here will have their chat routes, chat routes, and we'll create that index routes, index dot routes dot px, and we'll just copy everything from here, and we'll just change name it to page routes app dot use. In this case, we will not use like post or any method. We are just giving a prefix of our every user controller that will be user. So whenever in now, so whenever user hits slash user slash this register, and it will be just post method. You can use like dot, and here you have a lot of method you can use, but in our case we are just using post method, and here we are using it is as a modular. And now just user router, we will input here like chat router or any other router in here, and now it is not connected with our index router or index file, our main file. That's why we'll just app dot use our slash our every route will prefix slash api slash v1, and you can give it to any prefix in here like slash, okay, base routes. Okay, everything is connected now. In our base routes we have like so for now we have this one route slash user, and it is connected with user router, and in our user router slash api v1 slash user slash register, and it will be just call this function, and in this function we have and it will just return that respondent sent is hello world. And also you know that our browser only support the get method, and browser does not support post method to display like slash user. Okay, we need to run our server before do it. Run, start. Server is starting. Yes, server is running. Okay, you are getting. Now we'll hit API slash v1. This is our base path. API slash v1. So this is okay, this is, so now we are in here. So after that our we will need to go slash user and slash our user router prefix is register, and this post method, but browser only support get method as I told you here. So slash user slash register. Okay, we have this method, but it is not working. But if we use get method for this, So if you use like get method in here, it will be work in here. Suppose browser only support get method. Wow, we're getting the response from our server from these routes. And whenever we hit /API v1 /user /register with get method, then it is. So so if you have question why we are doing that, so we can easily uh, uh, like create multiple methods, multiple routes in here easily to why you are doing this. So suppose you have just a smaller application, then just 4-5 method you need to use, or just 4-5 function or controllers you need to use. Then everything like app.get, app.post slash, you can give it just like anything else like slash API, or you can give this any name and make sure that you have called the same or exact just name from your client or client side. And you can use like post, delete, and any other method from app, like get method, head, length, like post, pass method, put method, or delete method, or you can use as a middleware in here. So we'll not use here because if you have just multiple controllers and it is just testing purpose, that's why it is just 2 lines of code or 3 lines of code. But in real world scenario, you have a lot of functions, a lot of routes. So that's why it is best practices. And we can also create like controllers for keep just user.controllers in the controller directory, or set.controllers in controller directory, or controllers related to files in controller directory. But suppose you need to make changes in user controller, and then you need to go slash set routes. Suppose you have another directory called routes. There you have all routes, and your all routes is connected with your main file. But it will just consume your time, and in my case the modular architecture is best than the MVC architecture. So that's why user routes controller. So in the modular architecture, this is in the single directory. We have controller routes and DTO or any other thing we need, like services and validation. We need validate related functions, utility function here. ঠিক আছে. Okay, so for now we are just changing this get method to post method, and after that we need to open we'll use Insomnia for testing REST APIs, and also you can use Postman, but in our case, in my case, I'm using Insomnia. So I'm opening Insomnia, and I have created a folder and collection, like that name is certified. And now I'm just setting new environment the called page URL, and output to this HTTP colon slash post colon or port is 5000 and slash API slash v1. That is the base prefix of our routes. So that is the base prefix of our route name. So for now, and it is a set. It has a set, and also you can just write it in like that, just in the parentheses. You can just do it manually like that, or you can just give a pairs of environment variable. You can set it out. Okay, now yeah, I have created a folder called user, and in the user directory, so I'm just removing everything. Just remove, delete, hit, delete. Just create a folder called user. So you can create it. Okay, this time, okay, just removing everything, and just remove this folder, and I'm just starting from initially step. JWT file, create new collection, and I'm giving the collection name also JWT, where we'll test our REST API. And now it is just going in this JWT directory, and I'm creating a new folder called user. So before that, I need to set environment. Just click on this edit button. Base URL, or you can give it just any name. We will just use this value from here. Just HTTP. Make sure that you have set the correct path here, and your port number is correct, and your just prefix is correct. You can use like API v1, or you can change it to APIs, or just v2. Then we don't need to v1, and it is just prefix. And also you can use the slash. Then we don't need to API v1. When we go this route, it is a middleware for our total routes. And slash localhost 5000 slash user and slash register. Then the function will be called, and it will be execute and respond to our client. So this is the basic flow. Okay, in our case, it is we need to change it to for versioning our API, just API v1. I prefer to do this, and we will not use this. And in our user controller, comes data equals to, we'll pass data from client equals to request dot body, and we'll create a user later. We just response dot json. We just send our data as a JSON to our client. Just response back to client this whatever they will pass to our server. And now I'm just opening Insomnia, and let me just set environment variable. We'll create a new HTTP request, and just shift underscore in here. Okay, we're getting page URL, and just hover it on page URL. And now we know what is the exact value in our environment variable, and slash user slash path, our exact route name is slash user slash register, and it will be just post method. And you can use like delete, pass, put, or header option methods, or you can also create a custom method for you. And we'll pass data. We can pass data as form data. So form data and JSON data like similar, but form data, when you need to pass like files like image, audio, video from your client to server, and JSON for just key value pairs of data as a JSON. Like name equals to like you can use name equals to just control and space here, and you can use like factors in data and type name, then no last name, first name prefix, suffix, or anything else you can use from here, and the full name we will use. Okay, but we need to wrap it in the bracket because it is a string. Now pass, we are getting just empty response from our server, so that we need to log it clc what type of data we are getting from our server. Just log it. Okay, and our data is undefined. So why it is undefined? Because if you need to use like Express.json and request.body in your app, and make sure that you have set this middleware. This is from Express.json. It will pass your request.body, and it will just you can able to accept request body from your client. So make sure that at the top of your routes you have just initialize or set this middleware, like top of every routes where you need to request.body in your app. So for now I will get the response back this name as a JSON from our server. Wow, we are using this fake data from Insomnia, and I love this feature so much, and we are sending this name to register. And you can share it to anywhere in the world because it is cloud sync. Okay, now we can pass multiple data there what you need, like email equals to like email, like control plus space in here, control space, and type email, and it will just generate random email, random full name. Every time we are getting random email and full name, random email and random full name every time we are sent, and we are getting response from our server, and it is logged in the browser, our random name and our random email. So now okay, we don't need these routes anymore, and we don't need to do this in here. We can do it on here, just paste routes or .get whenever user hit /api/v1 or // then they will get this server journey. Everybody is running. Okay, so when user go to this, then it will call this user related routes and it will execute, and you can create like multiple routes in here, multiple routes, and /user / in this case login. You can change the function name. You can use like put method or pass method. You can use like login user, but it does not exist in our user controller. That's why we can create it like const login user equals to, and we can pass it, and now everything is connected. Our user routes just we have the sense in the single place, and this our user route is connected this base route, and our base route is connected with our main file, and everything will work. The sense just create and change in single file. So initially we need to just we it seems we need to write a lot of boilerplate code, but after that we don't. We just create controller and just connect with our route, and we're just giving name. You can give like any name, like you can use like slash admin slash login slash user slash login, or anything else that you want, slash auth slash login, anything else that you want. Also you can use like, you can accept like query parameters like colon id and slash user. Okay, now you can pass like dynamic this is the dynamic routes. You can pass dynamic id like login slash anything, login slash anything you will type, then it will get as a id, and you will get it by request dot in your controller. You will get it by request dot params dot your exact name. This name should be your this name. You can say, you can give it like user id, token, or anything else, but make sure that you have getting the same params from your equals.params dot token equals.params dot user id, something like that. Okay, now we need to validate our data. So for validating, we will use our modules from here. Okay, well, we'll just copy. Okay, before copy, just copy it from here, and we'll just paste it. User paste. We don't have paste option. I don't know how. Oh, user dot DTO. So it means data transfer object, DTOs. If you use Next.js, then you will understand. So DTO means that data transfer object, but we don't have installed Zod, and Zod installation process. We need to add this library called Zod. Oh, just 1 or 2 seconds, it is installed. Okay, everything the correct errors is gone, and we can validate our data easily with Zod. And suppose in our schema, as we need to this is required field called id, username, email, password, like avatar, and id will be automatically generated whenever user create, and username field is required. You can make it optional, but if like you can make like username optional, but whenever you made any changes, it will be not reflected with your Prisma client. You need to create migration or create generate types for it. After that, it will be work. So in our case, our required field is just a password, email, username. This is the required field. Also the avatar, sorry, the avatar is not required, but your user detail like email, username, password, avatar, provider id, and it is just, we have make it just optional, and this three field is required. And if the user pass this username less than 3 character, it will be just return errors. And if user not pass this exact email, then it will just give invalid email. And it will just easily understand, import j from Zod and validate your get j.object, validate your data whatever you need. So in our case, we will just remove it. Okay, we don't need to remove, but our required field is username, email, and password. we can validate it. If it not validate, like we can use try catch or const register schema dot parse. We need to parse our equal body, and it will generate our data what we need, and our data is just type shape. And just control space, we have just avatar, like we know what data it will be just parsed and pass, and avatar is just optional. So this three field is required and must be sent from user. And if you don't have user, and if you have any errors, like you can use try catch to handle errors, clg and console.log error. Or also you can use response dot status equals to 400 and error by passing this error. Okay, for now we don't have we are not passing the password field. Oh, so the issue is expected string. Okay, our field for username path, it is required, and our password field is required, but email it is working. Okay, we need to change it to username. We need to change it to password. We can also use random password, but in our case, we have to 1 2 3 4 5 6 10. Wow, everything is working. But if we keep this our password minimum length in our validation schema must be 6 character. So minimum is 6 character, and if not, then it will just return this custom error. Wow, so our password must be 6 character. So is this too small? Password must be 6 character. And if we just change it, yeah, our data is validated, and user cannot pass dummy data. Like if we use like, okay, is like our email is not valid for now, but our password is correct. Okay, invalid email format, but we need just the exact match email format, like g.com. Wow, it is not, now it is working. Gmail. It is working for now. By getting response, just remove @. This is the correct email format, and it is not in the correct email format. It will give you error that invalid email format. So we have learned how to validate data, and now we will create services for reusability, and we'll just copy everything from our services, and I will explain everything without creating manually. Just user dot services dot ps. Okay, so for now I'll just remove everything from here, and I'll just give the export const create user. And we need to install Prisma. Sorry, we need to import Prisma, and now this is custom error handler. We need to create it, and now we'll create some middlewares. and I have already created, and I will just copy and paste and explain everything. Like this is our error handler middleware. So I'll just explain it. So before I do this, if we check it out, this is our error handler middleware. So now this is your custom error handling class, and this is the error handler, and this is the format jot error and get status code for errors. And we're just logging with logging Winston. We are using Winston, and this is the from config, and in our config folder this is the logger, and this is our reusable logger, like logger instance. So this is the configuration. I will just submit everything on the copy and just paste it in here. But copy and paste is taking a lot of times for writing. So now we have organized our code in the server directory because we will create a client for our server. And if we go to the configuration, this is our Cloudinary configuration. Like you need to install or install this library for handling Cloudinary, and you will get Cloudinary like a Cloudinary cloud name API secret from just sign up on Cloudinary, and you will get everything from Cloudinary configuration. And after that, this is our some utility function, how you can just this is reusable function for upload single file like avatar or update profile. User can pass a file and it will be just uh, accept as a request.file. And if you don't have file, just return an app error, and this app errors in from here. So this is the class for app error. This is the error handler for format error and logging the error and get status code. And in the utils lib/utils folder, we have just parse string error, just format jot errors like that, and this is the format message which utility function, and we are just formatting our errors and just passing it. Okay, so this is error handle middleware, and we have just pass our middlers at the last of our server. So this is your server, and this is the init socket, and this init socket, this is the socket at IO, and it is on our /module/socket, and this is socket, and it accept server, and this is the HTTP server for initializing socket. And we can also initialize socket on our this directory, but it will be just it will be just longer and not maintainable if our socket configuration will be just longer. So for that, we have just keeping our socket configuration in another separate file, and we are just connected our socket to server in here, and we are just set or main routes. This main routes is from our modules, like this index route, and this is the main routes. You can give it like any name, and we have just connected with, like, in our main routes, we have just connected like user route, set route, and message route, and every route's prefix is API v1, and our main routes is just imported in our index file, and our code is just well organized, and we are just setting up middlewares. So this middlewares from the middleware slash setup middleware. So if you go to middleware slash setup middleware, so this is our middleware. We need to install Express Morgan for logging your request and production level logging. We'll use local instance for with Winston for handling cross browser request. Like our server port number is 500, sorry, 5000, and when we will request from like Next.js React, their default port number is 3000, or we can use it from anywhere. So the mismatch the port number. That's why our course for which region will be allowed for use the server. Okay, this is our similar for parsing repository URL encoded, and for course configuration in our config file, in this here we have course configuration, like accepting cookies and setting cookies. This is the cookie parser function or middleware. For security we're using just helmet, and uh, for logging everything and setting it with the logger or Winston, and write it on the logs file like that. We are using logger, and after that, okay, after that we are using this rate limit. And if we see that this is Cloudinary configuration, this is cook configuration for using without write it manually. We can use cookie in multiple place and the change in single place, and it will reflect it in anywhere where we will use it. So this is env. We can just do it by env.client URL JWT secret, and just manage in the single file, and it is just accessible from anywhere in our app. And this is the helmet configuration, and helmet is just for security purpose. And this is our index.config. There we have imported multiple uh, configuration file, or multiple configuration like rate limit, helmet, logger, and course options. This is the course option. By default, our server will support multiple any type of origin, but you can use like an array and pass your the specific origin where you need to access your client to access these resources, like localhost 3000 or your hosted domain, or like 5000 your where your client is running. You can give the specific origin to access your just your server and use your APIs. So this is the node mailer configuration for sending mail, and this is the send email function. And in our public directory, this is the template view, where this is we are using pass dynamic data from whenever user send email. Okay, this is okay, like we are using this send mail and this file from public directory, and we are reading this path join. This is our path of our email template, and we are just replace our template with the our dynamic data, and this is the from email subject to HTML template. Just read this and you will easily understood everything. And if you need how to get like node mailer, this host name, node mailer, host, port, user, and pass, then just write on the comment section what you need. I will just try to make video for this. So for now, so this is our default app, our all configuration in here, and this is our setup middleware where we have just setting up with our necessary middleware in here. This is your error handler. This is custom error handler for handling errors and logging our errors and passing response to server. And this is the not found handler, and we have connected in the last. Make sure that your error handler, this is not found, and your error handler is the bottom of your every function in your main file. So this is our app, and now if we go to the like modules /user /user controller, so this is the register function, and we are just parsing errors, and if we have any type of error, we are passing this middleware and this middleware. So we are calling this next middleware from the next function. So every controller has just three parameters: just request, response, and next, and we are passing the middle error in the next middleware, and that is because it will be cached from our global error handler. And go to definition, and our error will be cached from here, and we are just parsing our job error or any type of error and returning it with just a few lines of code. So user controller, we are using the send email function. We're just passing where we will send email, the username, and the send email, and third it is the subject, fourth it is just message, and just button link. So we are just in our user service has a method called create user, and this is some we have imported some necessary file like app error, request response from types from Express, like role and user. This is Anna from Prisma Cloud. After migration it has generated, or if you don't have generated this, you can just use Prisma migrate, then it will be generated. And in our DTOs we have this our schema is not just correct type to use, but it is now j.infer type of register schema. This is the types of our data. So with single function and single lines of code, we are getting this type of our data, and we're just validating our data without necessary field. And this data also type saved, and we are parsing errors, and if we have any error, then it will be cached by next middleware by global error handler. So this is it. And if we go and we are just upload single file, and this is utility function from Cloudinary. So if we have file, so if you need to use file, you need to use like Multer. So in our register upload.single, like avatar, our field name is avatar. So how with field name you can pass data to your client server, like when you pass data from your client, so you need to set a name to pass your image or file data, or like your files, you need to give a name, you can say just use upload.single to just send single file from client, or you can use upload.array. Then you can pass multiple files, and also you can specify how many files you need to accept, and to just single file to upload user avatar. So from client, whenever our field name is avatar, must be avatar, or you can use the like upload dot any, and you can give any field name for your image, and okay, upload dot any. Now if you type any field name from client and send image to client to server, then it will be just accepted, and you will be able to get files in here. So in our case, we are just use single image for register to set user avatar. And if we go to a config file in our Cloudinary config, this is our upload single file, and we are just accepting request.file don't have, then we are through new, this is custom error handler, error throwing list class. And if we don't, everything is okay, we are uploading image and returning the uploaded this result. And fh.unlink sync, that's because when we use for accepting file, we need to use Multer. Like Multer, you can set, we need to set Multer destination, and in my case I have set destination uploads. You can give it any name, make sure that this given name is created, that without it will be just return errors. And we're just setting the file name to .now for unique file name, and the file dot original name for creating this unique file name. And you can also use like file filter, what type of images, what type of files you will be accept. Without it, it will just return errors. And if you don't have error, then your error is null, and callback is true. That means it is just allowed to perform the another task. And in our Multer, in the object, we have just passed this storage, this file filter, and our file limit must be less than just 50 MB. So this is it. This is our register. This is our login controller. Everything is connected. Everything is connected with our index route, and index route is connected with our just main file in our app. We are using this tools modular. So if we go to the modular, auth modular, so this is, we are using just a memory cache for immediately accessible token in to keep in cache without regenerate tokens. Just if we have access token, and access token is valid, and token cache has the access token, then we are just returning that request.user. We are setting the request.user that our just payload. So whenever we pass the same token, and it will just return the our setted value on the token cache. And this is a simple function for if you have this access token, then it will just verify it and set on the token, and just request.user or decode it, whatever we have set in our JWT. We don't have this access token, then we will just generate new refresh token. So whenever user will log in, like generate token, this is the generate token function. It will just generate two type of token, this access and refresh token. We need to pass the type manually, type in access and refresh. And this is our configuration for access and refresh. And this is the utility function for verify token, formate tokens, user response, and set cookies on the request cookies. And if you need to use this response cookie, you need to set this. You must set this cookie parser on your global middleware. And for when user logout, then we'll use this user service.clear cookies to clear cookies from the browser to client side. This is create user function. So if we are finding unique user from with this email, we are accepting this. So we are using this registered DTO from our schema. And if user already exists, then we are returning errors. And if we don't have any error, then prisma.user.create, we are passing our required field. We are hashing our password to bcrypt with bcrypt. And if we go to the definition, this is the single lines of function. So it's bcrypt from bcrypt, and we need to hash hash our password for security purpose. So only user with given the exact password will be able to log in, or otherwise anyone does not have to log in this app. So whenever user register, we're passing the response to, like, it will just response everything the Prisma will return. And in our login user don't have, or we keep the compare password and set password is not matched, then it will just return invalid credentials. And this is we're setting up the generate token function. It is access and refresh token to 7 days expires time. And we are just respond the user response. We are just minimize or sorting our users, and we're just formatting our tokens in here. And the user controllers, we are just setting up the cookies and sending emails. After when user click here, then email will be just verified from our client. And this is the, like, where, oh, here. So user dot set cookies, we are just passing cookies from the services, and we are just setting the cookies. And this set cookies function, like, it is just setting access token and refresh token. Access token is just minimal expire time, and refresh token just long expire time. Suppose whenever user need to access some secure like some security or secure data in our app, like get users, so get all users is, we should not give the access to get all user to any user. So only role, where role is admin, and you can change the role by changing it manually, or with our specific route and controller we can do it. Before doing it, just role.admin, we can make a user as a admin, and this specific users will be able to access these two routes. This is the role based handler. And if we just go to our auth middleware, so you can just see this is modular architecture. You will understand that, just read this and you will be just easily understand everything. There is token, accept token from request headers dot authentication or cookies. Second validity tokens. This is roles middleware. So this is the enum from our Prisma. And if we don't have request user, returning errors. And allowed roles includes request.user.role. Then it will be just, it is not met, then it will just return error, or otherwise it will just give the permission to perform on the next middleware to do anything. User routes, it will go to the, if you if the role will be just exact match. Suppose whenever we are using this, and our request.user has, we're setting up the refresh token payload, and before reach to the roles middleware, it will just execute this middleware. Without it, it will return error. And if everything is okay, now it will just check our user is admin or not. So if user must be admin, then they are allowed to perform this or will allow to get the get users or delete users from our server, from our database. So we have created a lot of controller, a lot of utility function like logout. We have created services to get user by ID. We're passing ID. We're calling the update user, delete user, forget password, reset password. So our controller is just smaller, and we have write our logic related and or logics in the user services like get user by ID. So we are using Prisma in here, Prisma.user file unique, or ID is this ID. If you don't have, or just pass the user. So, and we're just verifying users. So it is a normal JavaScript. You will easily understand. Prisma.user has the unique method for updating users, and this is the unique identifier of users. And we're just getting, if we have request.file and the user is have on this ID, then we are just deleting the before our previous file, and we're uploading new file, and our data.avatar will be the SQL avatar. And if we user pass data.password to update, then we'll just generate a new hash for this password, and data.email, and we're checking the email is already exist, and if we have email exist, then it is just returning errors. So this is a generate reset token, like we are generating random bytes from crypto. We're updating the token to this, and this reset expiry will be just 1 hour. After 1 hour, the token will be expired and it will be just not work. We're sending email to server, and if we have any error, it will be just catched by our controller. Reset password. We are checking that reset token and reset token expire time. It is just less than 1 hour, then it will just work, or just sending with new password. So everything is just simple. This is the get users and delete users function, just 1 lines of code. And in our controller, I'll just use the user service dot delete user, get user. If we have errors, then we're passing errors. So it is very simple. Just create controller, create service, create DTOs or validation schemas with JWT, create your custom error handler middleware like that, and parse your JWT type of error and any HTTP errors in here like chat, controller, route. So everything is just similar. Everything is similar. Just understand the basic flow like Cloudinary configuration, cookie configuration. So this is the static configuration that we need. Most of the case, we need the same functionality in everywhere. This is the static configuration. Like cookie configuration, it is static configuration, env configuration. So what type of env we need as a JSON, like helmet configuration for security. And this is the index file for organize configurations like logger, mailer, and everything is just static. You don't need to just understand the flow, and you just copy and paste it, because everything is just static. You most of the time you need just similar functionality for handle files, handle emails, handle logger, everything, cookies, rate limit. Suppose when user hit only just supports get users or register, in the 15 minutes user able to on the register request or the same route like register login, user can for same route user can pass just 100 requests in the 15 minutes, and it whenever it will just over, then it will just return too many requests, please try later. And suppose in our application affected by hackers to accept a lot of requests at a time, so it will be just easily handle just 100 requests will be easily handled by server. And if the in the 15 minutes it is over, then it will just return errors. You can check it out by 1 2 3 and check if the same route will be not work. Suppose if we give 2, okay, we will not check, you can check it out how it's work. This is modular architecture, messages, controller DTO route services, controller DTO chat, controller DTO route services. This is first module. This is the middleware that user is authenticated or not. This will check user is authenticated or not. And this is the role middleware. It will check the user has the access or authorized for this role to access the specific data, specific side of our app. And access token has the lowest cost, lower expire time. The press token has just more than just longer expire time. Whenever access token will be refreshed, and whenever user hit this hit to access data, and if you don't have access token, then it will just generate new refresh token, and in 7 days, and after 7 days user will not allow to log in anymore, need to log in again, and after that they will be allowed to access resources from our server as a login user. So this is the simple flow of our app. This is the global types, uploads folder, libs. So everything is just simple. Everything is just simple. You can test it out. And now we will just push it on GitHub, github.com. We'll create a new repository called Chatify. It's available, and then I will just push it. You can just copy it to default to this. We need to just git init. It is initialize git x. Maybe I need to remove git manually. Certify has the git folder. I need to remove it. Okay, git is removed. Git init. We are initializing new git. Sorry. Okay. Git add dot with commit aim. Just changing the commit name is init, and we're setting the branch is master, by just setting origin and push to origin master. Okay, just refresh. Okay, yeah. Push our code is now certified. Go to this URL slash a web code slash certify. Then you will find the code, everything on the GitHub, and just read and check it out. And you need to just change your env.example to your exact email. You will find cloud name if I secret on the Cloudinary, and it will be just easily accessible, and you'll get it just easily. Or SMTP host port you will get easily. Just you will find it on YouTube, and if you don't find, just let me know. I'll try to make a video about how to create SMTP email, user, password, how you can get it and set it with your node mailer, or Cloudinary configuration, how to get it, or how to set up your own Postgres